The rule is not a motivational slogan or a productivity hack you find on social media. It is a structural filter for decision-making that operates beneath surface-level habits. At its core, it forces you to evaluate every action, purchase, or commitment through the lens of long-term consequence rather than immediate emotional payoff. Most people never adopt it because it requires delaying gratification in a world engineered to reward impulsivity, from algorithm-driven content to one-click purchases. The rule does not ask you to be perfect. It asks you to pause, project, and assess. If I do this consistently for 5 years, where will it leave me? That single question dismantles 90% of distractions disguised as opportunities. It is not about discipline in the traditional sense. It is about designing a decision architecture that makes self-sabotage inconvenient. People mistake it for minimalism or austerity, but it is actually a form of strategic abundance. You are not removing things from your life, you are reserving space only for what compounds. The reason it works over decades is because it is immune to trends. It does not care about what is viral, popular, or endorsed by influencers. It only responds to cause and effect, physics of behavior, and the mathematics of repetition. You do not need to believe in it for it to work. You just need to apply it consistently, even skeptically, and let the results accumulate silently. This is not philosophy. It is behavioral engineering with measurable outputs. Implementation begins not with grand declarations but with micro-decisions, the kind most people ignore because they seem insignificant. You start by applying the rule to 3 daily categories: time allocation, financial expenditure, and energy investment. For each, you create a simple checkpoint. Before clicking, buying, or committing, you ask, does this align with where I want to be in 36 months? If the answer is not a clear yes, you delay by 48 hours, no exceptions. This pause is not about denial. It is about disrupting autopilot. Over time, the 48-hour rule trains your brain to disassociate urgency from importance, a critical rewiring in an attention economy. You do not need apps, spreadsheets, or coaches. You need consistency in applying the filter. Track nothing except whether you applied the rule, not the outcome, not the result. The metric is adherence, not success. That removes performance pressure and turns the process into a non-negotiable ritual, like brushing your teeth. Most fail here because they expect immediate transformation, but the rule compounds in invisibility. It is not designed to make you feel productive today. It is designed to make you unrecognizable in 5 years. Structure beats motivation every time, so embed the rule into your environment. Sticky notes on your monitor, a lock screen reminder, a recurring calendar alert. Make it unavoidable, not optional. Your brain is wired for short-term survival, not long-term optimization, which means it will generate endless rationalizations to bypass the rule. You will hear internal voices saying, "This is different," or "just this once," or "I deserve this." Those are not moral failures. They are evolutionary defaults. The key is not to fight them, but to depersonalize them. Treat resistance as background noise, not a command. Neuroscience shows that willpower is a finite resource, so the rule is not about exerting more control, but about designing systems that require less of it. You bypass resistance by making the rule non-negotiable, like a law of physics, not a personal preference. The moment you debate whether to apply it, you have already lost. So you pre-commit. I apply the rule to all decisions above $20, all screen time beyond work, and all social commitments not pre-scheduled. Specificity removes ambiguity, and ambiguity is where resistance thrives. Dopamine-driven behaviors, scrolling, impulse buys, reactive replies, lose their grip when filtered through a 3-year projection. You are not suppressing desire. You are upgrading your evaluation criteria. The brain adapts to what you consistently reinforce, so each time you apply the rule despite discomfort, you are literally rewiring neural pathways. After 90 days, it stops feeling like restriction and starts feeling like clarity. Resistance does not disappear. It just becomes irrelevant. This rule bypasses traditional budgeting by attacking spending at the source, the decision point. Instead of tracking where money went, you control where it goes before it leaves your account. You apply the 3-year projection to every non-essential purchase. If I spend $50 here today, what am I preventing myself from having in 36 months? That $50 coffee machine is not just $50. It is $50 not invested, not saved, not compounded. Multiply that by 200 similar micro-decisions per year, and you are looking at $10,000 plus in redirected capital without changing your income. The rule exposes invisible inflation, the death by 1,000 cuts that drains wealth without triggering alarm. You are not becoming frugal. You are becoming intentional. Financial freedom is not built on windfalls. It is built on consistent redirection of small resources toward compounding assets. The rule forces you to define what asset means to you, not according to financial advisors, but according to your personal 3-year vision. That could be skills, health, relationships, or liquid capital. The category does not matter. The alignment does. You will naturally start automating savings, investing in low-cost index funds, or paying down high-interest debt, not because you should, but because those actions survive the 3-year filter. Income growth becomes secondary. Efficiency of allocation becomes primary. Wealth is not what you earn. It is what you do not waste. And waste is not always obvious. It is often disguised as convenience, comfort, or temporary relief. Time is not managed. It is allocated. And most people allocate it reactively to notifications, obligations, and distractions that feel urgent but produce zero long-term value. The rule forces you to treat time like a non-renewable asset, because it is. Before opening an app, attending a meeting, or starting a project, you ask, will this meaningfully contribute to my position in 36 months? If not, it gets deferred, delegated, or deleted. You stop measuring productivity in tasks completed and start measuring it in trajectory maintained. The average person loses 3 to 4 hours daily to low-value activities that survive only because they were not filtered. Applying the rule reclaims that time without apps, calendars, or Pomodoro timers, just a single question applied consistently. You will notice that busy and productive are not synonyms, and that most urgent tasks have no expiration date. The rule exposes time vampires. Meetings that could be emails, videos that could be summaries, conversations that could be texts. You begin batching, automating, or eliminating anything that does not pass the filter. Over a year, that is 1,000 plus hours redirected towards skill building, creation, or recovery, equivalent to a part-time job you never applied for. The compound effect? After 5 years, you have gained 5,000 plus hours, enough to master a craft, build a business, or transform your health. Time is not found. It is reclaimed through ruthless prioritization. And prioritization is not emotional. It is algorithmic. Relationships decay not from conflict, but from misalignment, and the rule acts as a diagnostic tool for that misalignment. You apply it to every recurring interaction. If I continue investing time and energy here, where will this relationship be in 3 years? Where will I be? That question reveals whether a connection is compounding or depleting. You are not evaluating people. You are evaluating patterns. Do they encourage growth? Do they respect boundaries? Do they reflect your future self? The rule does not demand you cut people off. It demands you adjust investment levels based on projected outcomes. Some relationships get upgraded, more time, deeper vulnerability. Others get downgraded, less availability, clearer boundaries. A few get archived, not out of malice, but out of realism. You stop maintaining connections out of guilt, nostalgia, or social obligation, and start maintaining them because they survive the 3-year projection. Toxicity becomes obvious not through drama, but through trajectory. If a relationship consistently pulls you away from your goals, values, or peace, it fails the filter. You will naturally attract higher caliber connections because your standards become visible, not through words, but through behavior. People sense when you are no longer available for distractions and either adapt or exit. The result is not loneliness. It is curated intimacy. Quality over quantity is not a cliché. It is a mathematical inevitability when you filter for compounding value. Most people approach skill building like tourists, dabbling, quitting, restarting, because they chase novelty instead of compounding. The rule forces you to filter every learning opportunity. If I invest 5 hours per week here for the next 36 months, what level of competence will I reach? What doors will that open? That question eliminates 95% of interesting courses, books, and tutorials that lead nowhere. You stop learning for entertainment and start learning for trajectory. Mastery is not about talent. It is about uninterrupted accumulation. The rule protects that accumulation by filtering out distractions disguised as upskilling. You will naturally gravitate towards skills that interlock, that build on each other, creating a multiplier effect. Coding plus design, writing plus marketing, finance plus psychology. The filter reveals which combinations create leverage. You measure progress not in certificates or hours logged, but in output quality and real-world application. After 12 months of filtered focus, you will have outpaced 99% of lifelong learners who jump from trend to trend. The rule also prevents burnout by forcing sustainability. If a learning schedule is not maintainable for 36 months, it is rejected. No 8-hour study marathons. No guilt-driven cramming. Just consistent, protected, filtered input, 5 to 10 hours per week, non-negotiable. In 3 years, you are not learning. You are operating at a professional tier. In 5, you are teaching, consulting, or building. Skills do not scale through intensity. They scale through filtration and persistence. 10 years of applying this rule does not produce a dramatic before and after photo. It produces a life that looks like intentional design, not accidental accumulation. Financially, you are not rich. You are resilient, diversified, debt-free, option-rich. Time-wise, you are not busy. You are focused. Your calendar reflects priorities, not emergencies. Relationally, you are not popular. You are deeply connected, surrounded by people who reflect your values and challenge your growth. Skill-wise, you are not jack of all trades. You are a recognized authority in 2 to 3 domains that interlock and generate leverage. None of this required genius, privilege, or luck. Only the relentless application of a single filter to thousands of micro-decisions. The compound effect is not motivational. It is mathematical, and it is available to anyone willing to trade short-term noise for long-term signal. You do not need to start big. Start with one category: spending, screen time, or social commitments. Apply the rule there for 90 days. Track nothing except whether you applied it. Let the results speak. Then expand. The goal is not perfection. It is pattern integrity. Miss a day? Reset. Forget the rule? Reapply. There is no failure. Only recalibration. 10 years from now, you will not remember the coffee you did not buy or the meeting you skipped. You will remember the life you built because you filtered relentlessly. If this resonates, subscribe not for more content, but for more clarity. Like this video if you believe in silent compounding over viral hacks. Comment filter below if you are applying this rule to one decision today. Share it with someone drowning in noise. They might not thank you now, but they will in 3 years.